You can do anything if you set your goal, acquire the knowledge to achieve it, and without fail, do the work day in and day out. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes a day is all we ask. If you want to master the charts, if you want to have the ability to accurately track, trade, invest in the stock market, we urge you to pay attention to what we do every single day. The lessons that we put out for free, the daily training, the weekly review and forecast that will come out on Friday afternoon. Fill out your trade worksheet, your daily market worksheet, your once a week weekly market worksheet. That will supercharge your training. Those are available for free in your show notes every day, those PDFs. In fact, at the end of today's video, I'm going to put the 3 trainings on how to fill out those worksheets. That is the number one way, in addition to reading the book, being with us 10 to 15 minutes a day, applying the lessons in your show notes every day. We have about anywhere between a 5 and a 10, maybe 15 minute at the most. It's rarely that long training, video training every single day. And again, just a few minutes. Follow these charts. Utilize what we teach on your favorite stocks, ETFs. This is possible. And the more you practice, the more probable it becomes. Thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters that keep signing up every day. We so appreciate you. Of course, please make sure, if you're interested in options, Patreon members, we give you that 3-part option series, highly rated by all of you guys. Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. If you want to learn options, the best way to do it is our free training for our Patreon members. In addition to that, of course, Patreon members, check your emails. We gave you the 10 weekly vertical crossovers going up and the 10 weekly vertical crossovers going down. Those are all potentials for practice trading tomorrow around 350. So go ahead and check those out. See how those are shaping up as we push through Thursday, and be ready to pull the trigger on some practice trades tomorrow. Now, let's jump into these charts. You know, the first thing I'm going to show you, usually save Bitcoin till the end. I'm going to show you today. All things being equal, the market tends to move in the direction of what? The largest chart. Where is our key indicator on Bitcoin? It's been down for a while. Bitcoin has managed to move up a little bit further from where it peaked before it rolled over. You can see that it did go up a little bit higher, peaked at a point, but again, pushed up through the $60,000 mark, but has been losing momentum. Down today, 2.60%. What are we waiting to see happen on Bitcoin? Well, waiting for first the 2-day chart to cross over going up. Big down candle on the 2-day, representing Wednesday and Thursday. And then once the 2-day rotates over going up, hopefully you'll see the weekly follow, and then Bitcoin can start its rise to even higher heights. But that's not happening right now. That's okay. As we look at these charts and study it, we can see that. We look at the half day, we can see where things had bottomed and then moved a little lower today. So again, Bitcoin just losing some energy and momentum. It will come back, and when it does, we will see it. We will be ready to practice trade it. So again, pay attention. Watch these charts. If you're interested in Bitcoin, the way to learn how to chart Bitcoin is to do what? Follow Bitcoin and chart it when it makes itself available for charting. You can't push these charts. You can't make Bitcoin do what you want it to do. You can simply follow the trend. That is the key, my friends. That is what we are all about. Finding trends, particularly with weekly vertical crossovers, and following them. Now let's move on to the S&P 500. What do we see going on there? We see a slowdown week after a nice week last week. Haven't reached that high, gotten a little close to it, but haven't reached the high of last week. A red open box candle means a slowdown in the up movement. Price is still just moving up the weekly trend line. That's good to see. We do see the price percent oscillator's gone flat. Derivative oscillator gaining a little momentum. Check out this 2-day. We saw where things were up for many candles on the 2-day chart. Then the Monday, Tuesday, we saw some weakening and more weakening with pretty much a doji on the Wednesday, Thursday 2-day candle falling through the 2-day trend line. Price percent oscillator hasn't crossed over. It looks like it's heading down just a little bit. Derivative oscillator has gone through its 4th day of down movement, of devolution, as we might call that. Look at the half day. It has been negative for a while. And in fact, we need to try to draw, if it is possible. Yeah, it's, well, not a very good one. I'm trying to draw, for those of you who are listening, trying to figure out a way to draw a down trend line. That's almost impossible to do. What we'll do is we'll just keep it connected back where it was previously. And at some point, perhaps we'll be able to draw a new one. But we can see where at the end of the day, the price percent oscillator kicked over, heading down even further along with the derivative oscillator. Not so interested. I mean, of course, we watch the intraday chart on that half day, but it's particularly what's going on the 2-day and even more importantly, the weekly. We do see some weakness in there. Now, I know there's some of you took your profits when things popped up to the high last week, but still, we are not necessarily out of this trade. Those of you who are again filling out your trade worksheets, following this trade, have your reasons for staying in. Again, continue to monitor it. You've already set your profit and loss bands. You know what you're going for and why. And again, learn from the movement. We're going to leave the S&P, go to the NASDAQ 100. The S&P was down 0.19%. The NASDAQ 100 down 1.21%. So a big down day on the NASDAQ 100. We keep waiting, watching, trying to see if we're going to have a weekly vertical crossover. It's iffy. It's iffy. It is not happening right now. We'll continue to watch and see what happens on Friday. A big slowdown in the up movement on the Qs. Derivative oscillator is positive. Price percent oscillator not quite happening, particularly with the down movement on Thursday. 2-day chart. Again, we can see where we broke that 2-day trend line 4 days ago. And again, a red spinning top, solid red. Price percent oscillator heading just a little bit down. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. The half day, we can see where things kinked over like the S&P. We had a fractious afternoon, we can see on the Qs along with the S&P, where stocks were sort of oscillating back and forth. Again, primarily down. And derivative oscillator gained a little downward momentum. So we'll watch. Do go ahead and mark that. Pay attention to what's happening on the Qs tomorrow at the end of the day for a potential weekly vertical crossover. Not happening right now. So I'm not going to be firing off. I'm just not going to be firing off that text message because it's not there yet. It may happen tomorrow. And even then, unless it's a huge update, it may be a very weak weekly vertical crossover. Doesn't mean, though, for trading purposes, you might go ahead and pull the trigger on that if you have a good reason to do so. Looking at what? Looking at what's going on in your half-day chart, how your 2-day chart is looking, what's happening with your trend lines, what's happening with the Bollinger Bands, what's happening with the derivative oscillator on all 3 charts, all the charts, all the time. That is where we are on the Qs. Let's go to 20-year bonds. They are trying to cross over going up. We see bonds, the only green for the day, up 0.44%. And again, we will be including that in a potential weekly vertical crossover going up. That is 20-year bonds. We'll pay attention to that on Friday. As we look at the weekly chart, we have a green candle forming, not hitting the high of the prior week, but it is going up. Derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. 2-day chart continuing just to move up. Hasn't hit that high that it hit back on the Thursday, Friday of last week 2-day candle, but is above the trend line. And again, derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. Half-day chart, it had crossed over going down yesterday and then popped back up in the afternoon. So again, continuing to try to track up. We can see as things were moving back and forth throughout the course of the day on bonds, but did end up 0.44%. That's where we are on bonds. Lastly, we go to gold. Gold pulled back some after a big day yesterday, down 0.64%. Nonetheless, nice big green up candle. Gold is crossing over, going up. Looks like, unless it's a big down day in gold, probably have a weekly vertical crossover at the end of the week. So again, watch for that. Watch for that. Very, very important. Gold has been going down since when? Since September, the week ending September 11, 2020. It's been a long time since we've had a weekly vertical crossover, if indeed this does occur. If it's a huge down day on Friday, it could pull back through, but most likely we're going to be seeing that happening. We have a nice green up candle for the week. We look at the 2-day chart. Again, nice series of 6 days of strong movement going up. That's pretty to see. We'll go ahead and redraw our 2-day trend line. Derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. Price percent oscillator heading up to that from the 2-day to the half-day. We can see where there was weakening in the morning, not as much in the afternoon, but following on, not peaking or dropping as low as it did in the morning. So again, we'll continue to watch and see. Pay attention to all these charts when we get to the end of the day on Friday to determine whether or not you're going to enter into a practice trade on gold. I am hoping. I've been waiting, salivating for gold to get ready to go up again, and I want to jump in it. We'll see. But again, it's not just what I want. It's not at all about what I want. It's about what the charts tell me to do. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.